The culture shock stage happens after the honeymoon period, and basically the primary focus is to find the differences between one's home culture and the new culture, and the conflicts that arise are due to these differences, which include having to use a foreign language, so for example, English or Malay, if you were to move here, not being able or not being sure about how to interact with people in authority, not having a clear idea of how to make friends with people in different cultures, not having a clear idea of how to date people in different cultures, not being understood about how you express yourselves in your own way, finding food and eating customs that are different from your home country, finding that religious practices are different, finding large differences in the education system, finding people in the new culture that are impatient and don't understand things right away, and finding out that people are prejudiced against others in this culture. This is normal. This is very, very normal, and it happens to every person, especially if you were to live in that new country for a long period of time. A lot of these conflicts, however, are internal, in terms of one's values, habits, and preferences that contrast with their home environment. During the culture shock stage, a lot of feelings are going to arise: of confusion, anxiety, homesickness, anger, and you feel anxious and lonely and overwhelmed, and you feel like you don't belong, and you feel like you're less competent. You feel that it's very unfamiliar and very unknown, and you're confused about the values you wish to live by. However, like I said, culture shock is an important and necessary part of the 5 stages. For example, I'm going to bring back the example of me moving to the Middle East. When I moved to the Middle East, I was in high school, and I had already spent about 7 or 8 years in the States, and I was very used to it. I had my friends, and I had a close-knit group of people that I could talk to. And moving to a new place after the honeymoon period ended got so scary because I didn't know how to make friends. I didn't know, the cultures, and obviously in the Middle East it's the Arab culture, and so the Arab culture is very different than the Western culture, and you have to cover up, and you have to respect, and you have to not do anything that is disrespectful. And one thing that I learned living there was you're not allowed to put your foot towards someone's face, otherwise that's considered disrespectful. And I didn't know that, and I had no idea how to go around trying to understand other people, and so it was very scary. And obviously they celebrate, or not celebrate, but they take part in Ramadan, which is when they fast for an entire month. And in the Middle East it's very important to them, and if they see you with food or a drink outside, you can get arrested or get fined. And you didn't know, and I had no idea when I first moved there. It was during Ramadan, and I had no idea, and my parents actually told me that I couldn't drink water, I couldn't eat anything, and I did, and I got in trouble. I didn't get fined, thank goodness, but being part of that experience is something that everyone needs to take a part of, and everyone needs to realize how important it is, because I've said this before to my friends that culturally it's very hard to go from another country, that you've never left the country, you've never been put in a situation where it's different, and it's hard. The food is different, the characteristics are different. It's very hard to find food that you like, especially since you're used to your home country's food or your family cooking. And there are tips of how to do that, and tips of how to overcome it. Relocating to another place. If you're just visiting, then it's easy. You don't really have to adapt to a culture. You don't really have to be part of that culture because you're only going to be there for a couple weeks. But if you are going to intend on moving to a place, or engulfing yourself there for a couple months, you do need to realize that adapting to someone's culture and adapting to an unfamiliar culture is very important.